Fan, short for fanatic, is the one who's screaming their lungs out in sub-0 degree temperatures, still believing when the chips are down, and never, ever giving up on their teams or their players. From the closest seat to the worst one, we want to meet you all. This is the American Fan.
What's going on, sports fans? It's Josh Williams back again with another episode of the American Fan 365 podcast. I am, of course, joined by the front row. Ro, how are you doing today?
I'm great. My little one, first day in middle school, so big milestone. Football is 5 Sundays away. You know, if life was any better, I'd think I was getting set up. But yeah, good.
You're 7 years away from him being off to college.
Or if he chose to go to trade school, which is fine with me too.
Graduation from high school. You're 7 years away from graduation. That's.
Yeah, it goes by in a blink. Georgie, how was your weekend?
Weekend was stellar. I went to a day club for the first time in my life.
What?
First
Where'd
time?
you go?
Wet Republic. Yeah.
I saw the post. Yes.
I'm not a club going guy, but they did
Really?
it nice for us.
Okay.
Vanessa Saros hooked it up. Shout out to the Sticky Paws family that I've grown into, and now you guys are a part of as well. They didn't let me wear a jersey at the club. Apparently, this is a rule. You can't wear jerseys.
Really?
I was rocking an Allen Iverson Georgetown jersey.
And they
Nice.
didn't let you have a jersey on?
They
That's
told me
weird.
as soon as I walked into the line, they were like,
Hey, no.
Hey, take that off. Take that off.
I got him. No, George. So what you do whenever that kind of stuff happens, I have a table. So when I have a table, it doesn't matter.
I should've
It
pulled
doesn't
the table.
matter what I'm wearing.
I'm too important for you to be
Yeah,
caring
no, they
about
don't-
this
They
bullshit.
thought you were Gen Pop.
Yeah, no. When I have a table, when we have tables, we walk in with Jordans. Honestly, Vegas clubs, out of every club that I've ever been to in any part of the world, are the least strict, usually, because it's hot. And so I've seen white boys roll through with flip-flops on, and it ain't no problem.
Yeah, no,
It's
I
hot
was
outside.
So I think the problem was it was Georgetown. They saw that my name was George on my ID, and they thought I was there to own. This is my town now.
I hate
Wet
you.
Republic is Georgetown.
I hate you.
Lord.
Go ahead, Ro.
There's
There's nowhere to go.
Where do you go from that? I don't.
Oh my goodness. Actually, no, I was the crazy part, and the reason I say, in terms of Mikey being out of school so quick, I was talking to Jonathan Ogden's wife, because we're trying to get Jonathan Ogden on the show. And I didn't realize, so his son, I had worked with his son for years. And I didn't realize that his son already was in college. She was in Maryland, oh yeah, I'm dropping Jaden off right now. And I'm like, huh? He already graduated from high school. So
Oh my
it
God.
happens very, very, very fast.
So this past weekend, I went to, all the stuff like Target, not to get supplies. Every place was the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. I literally was just...
I'm sorry. So I heard you, and then I had to think about it. I was like, that was a bad time.
But shame on me, navigating a parking lot at Target the day before school starts, right?
I can't even imagine what that would even look like.
And the floors are sticky. Oh,
I passed by a not a thrift store, but a consignment sale. It was next to my parents' church yesterday, and when I tell you these moms were going ham, they were getting loose. It was crazy. So
No.
but
Yeah, no.
man. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. U.S. women's national team. The dream is officially dead. There will be no three-peat. There will be no World Cup final. There won't even be a World Cup semi. U.S. women's, we lost 0-0-5-4 on PKs versus Sweden on early Sunday morning. And my question to both of you is, should we fire Vlatko Andonovski? And I actually learned how to say his name because I needed to say it on today's show. So Vlatko Andonovski, should we fire him, Ro, yes or no?
Yes. I think the expectations were high, the energy was high. You have the talent. They have a winning recipe, and so I just think that there needs to be new blood.
George.
New blood. One of the biggest takeaways that I saw is like all these takes on people saying like they are not being patriotic or taking like America seriously. So I don't know if you noticed.
No, I didn't see that.
Like during the national anthem, nobody was singing the national anthem, and usually like that's a pretty common thing in the World
soccer,
Cup.
Yeah, soccer.
Especially that like to sing the national anthem. There was only 2 players, so it seemed kind of like a lot of reporters were saying like this is a slighted attack towards America. And to me, I'm like, this is what we're drawing out of this, but then they lose. So then it's like, okay, maybe it's time for a rebranding. So yeah, let's get some new blood in.
Can I put on my 2 cents with this? America hasn't been a soccer powerhouse, okay? All over the world, it is the most popular sport except
here.
Except here.
No, except here.
Except here. So it's not... It's like we're still getting acclimated. Messi going to Miami is probably the biggest thing to happen to American soccer next to the women winning their World Cup. But we're still, we're still kind of warming our kind of senses to it. And it can be, it could be seen as a slight, or it could be seen as you guys are brand new here. So, we don't see you, singing the Brazilian national anthem.
I guess look, to that, if that's what we're pulling, I mean, but to your point, you lose and then now people can pick away. Because if they would have won, that wouldn't even have been a story, that wouldn't even have been a footnote. Yep. It would have just been business as usual. We're into the round of 16. But, since that was the story, that's so unnecessary. My take on Vlatko Andonovski, I feel like he definitely should be fired. We'll talk about that as we get into this a little bit further. But, listen, we starting with Pia Sundhage and then moving on to Jill Elliott, we had a run of just excellence. Even though Pia wasn't winning, we were getting to the final. It was and we'll talk about this too in terms of this group of young women that we had. We had a very young squad, and the group of elder women, I'll say, that are on their way out. And a few, Julie Ertz announced her retirement yesterday after the game. A few of those ladies, they had been through scarred. They had been, they'd been through wars. They'd been through some sad defeats. But even in those moments, we always were the best team. Like, when you talk about powerhouse, we've been the preeminent power in female athletics in terms of soccer from the beginning. Since the World Cup started, this is our worst finish in a World Cup period ever.
And the way that it finished.
Yeah.
You can lose, but then you can shit the bed, right?
Look, I woke up at 2 a.m. to watch that game, and I watched the entire game. And we had, first off, their goalie, the Swedish goalie, she was going to work. Yep. She did a great job.
Yep.
But the biggest thing that I took from this entire tournament was there was no finishing. There were no change in tactics. Some of the other ladies that have been on the team from years past had said that there was never any change in tactics. There never. I didn't realize that Kelly O'Hara and Melissa Mewis were even on the bench because they never came in the game. I didn't even know they were on the team. So like girls like that have won, that have that are still, like Kelly O'Hara, I think is like 31. Like she's not old. You know what I mean? And so to put one of these young girls in there that aren't producing, it's like she's scored mad goals in the World Cup.
Well, there didn't seem to be any chemistry at all for me when I watched any component of it. They didn't seem like a unified unit. And then I just thought it was so symbolic that when, Megan Rapinoe had a missed penalty kick, and I don't think that ball's even landed yet. Like it was, And it was
the smile after it was even sad. Like, it was just like she like laughed at herself, and it was like, girl, this is not. I was pissed.
I was pissed too, because she has been the face of American women's soccer, but
one of them for sure. Yeah.
One of them. But it's just I didn't like the way it went out with a whimper.
Yeah. I mean, in this one, look, the one thing I can give Vlatko a defense on is that we did have a ton of injuries. Christen Press, who else? It was I still call her Mallory Pugh, but it's Mallory Swanson. She's married to Dansby Swanson on my Cubs. She was still coming back from injury. Catalina Macario was hurt as well, but it was the amount of youth that we had on the field, and I felt like, because even in years past when Alex Morgan was coming up, we still had Abby Wambach, and they kind of brought Alex in slowly. They didn't just throw her all the way in there and say, hey, it's your team. Trinity Rodman, she wasn't ready. Like, there was aspects of her game where I'm like, she's still not ready. This finishing is a big deal. So it's going to be interesting. I want to see what's going to happen over these next few months. So, George, if you could pull up the MLB standings, we're going to talk about Major League Baseball. We are officially coming down the home stretch.
It's football season.
We're coming down the home stretch in baseball. Look, this is the push time. So, George,
what division you want, Josh? You want an overview? You want to see who's fighting for a wild card spot? Like, I mean, I got divisions galore up here, my man.
We can start in the AL West, just because that doesn't affect either of us.
AL West. Here we are.
It's all
None of you guys. It affects me greatly, but
what's affecting
Rangers? You? The Rangers. I've said this many times.
Oh, that's right. You bet the Rangers.
I keep on forgetting because it doesn't seem important to you.
This Rangers bet $1,200 doesn't seem important to me.
No, I didn't know. No. I didn't know they were your team. I didn't even know you were betting on them. I must have missed it.
Yeah, I got to rub it in more. I'm sorry. I'm pulling up the things now. It's taking me a second. But anyways.
You're good. But
baseball's all pain, so it's football season for me.
Listen, I get it. I understand why you feel that way. Like, it's so funny whenever people ask me, like, what's your favorite sport? And I'm always just like, whatever one of my teams is playing the best at the moment. So,
No. But you have to understand, while George is pulling everything up, as a Yankees fan, we came into the season, it was us and the Dodgers and possibly the Braves. Those were, and the Padres, possibly the Mets. Those were the teams, but really more than anybody, the Dodgers and the Yankees were supposed to go to the World Series.
Yeah.
Okay. The amount of money and time, and after all the fanfare of what Aaron Judge accomplished last year, we were riding high.
Yes.
We got his contract finished. Thank goodness. And
thank goodness.
He was injured, and we started off, we were on fire. Then he got injured, and then he was out, and then when the leading hitter on your team is Anthony Volpe with all our big bats, well, I don't think anymore. I think Giancarlo maybe now, but we were last place as of 2 days ago, behind those jerk off Red Sox. That's real kick in the fucking pants.
That's what hurts the most. George Rowe, do you guys want to go to the USA Basketball tonight? My guy from USA Basketball just texted me back, so
yeah, I'll go.
If you want
USA Basketball,
yeah. They're playing. No, they're playing Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Puerto Rico.
Where?
Spanish.
Wait, where?
at T-Mobile.
Oh, what time?
I probably like 7, like 6 or 7, I would assume. Yeah. I asked him for because I was like, Jamal, you want to go? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And so I asked him yesterday. He texted me, I'm sorry, I missed your stuff. So I was like, well, let me ask. So
well, I'm gonna take a rain check on that.
Okay.
I need a recovery day.
That's what you were supposed to be talking about, George. You're supposed to be talking about the sadness from the beach.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I took in a lot of vitamin D yesterday and a lot of tequila, and
I love that combo.
I threw up pretty violently at 3:30 a.m. this morning. Like it was one of those things where you roll over in bed, and I felt like I transported galaxies. I just turned around, I was like, whoa.
Oh, you had the spins. Ugh. Oh, that's the worst. Pedialyte, my guy, Pedialyte.
Oh,
Gator Light.
No,
dude,
Pedialyte.
I had the shower. I had the shower. I was sitting on the.
I thought you were about to say you were going to shit in the shower.
No, I mean,
no.
it was set up for that. Like, if that happened, like, I was very unpredictable. I wasn't sure what.
I was unpredictable.
It was just as unpredictable as these MLB standings. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes, sir. All right.
Nice segue.
Okay. So first off, I guess we can get Ro already kind of talked about our Yankees. So the Orioles are right now. What is the record of the Orioles?
70
George?
and 42.
The Orioles are daggone 30 games.
Oh,
above
look at this. We're not in
500.
last place anymore. We're one game up on the jerk-offs.
Oh, there you
Half a
go.
game.
There
Half
you
a
go.
game.
You got a half a game in there. There it is.
I don't care. I'll take it.
The AL Central, we've got the Minnesota Twins leading the way. The Twins are up on the Guardians. We will talk a little bit more about those said Guardians in a moment. But yeah, the Twins have been playing some good baseball overall. The Texas Rangers, George's bet continues to look good. The Astros made both of them because wasn't Verlander supposed to go to the Rangers and then he got they backtracked and now he went to the Astros?
Yeah, I know we got Scherzer.
Okay.
The Rangers got
yeah,
Scherzer.
they got Scherzer.
And
Wow.
so
They were trying to add Scherzer and
Bro, they
Verlander.
I've never been happier for a team in my life. They are ring chasing hard.
Yeah, but
they are going good.
But you know what? With Verlander, it's he's 41.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? You're going to give him a 1-year contract?
Hey,
I just need him to
I just
pitch
wanna
a
win
2-hitter
this
in the
year.
World Series.
as somebody that got the one win with the Cubs, let's go all in on this one.
But I do want to. I do want to say though, if you look at the National League Central Division, the Brewers have 60 wins and they're at the top of their division. The Yankees have 58. So
Yeah.
I mean,
My division is trash. My Cubs are playing some of the best baseball in the league.
and we have the same amount of wins.
Well, look, I'll say this. So since the All-Star break, the Cubs lead the MLB in runs with 164. We're tied for the most stolen bases. I believe it was with it was somebody random.
The Reds?
And then no, it wasn't the Reds. It wasn't the Reds. The Reds were up there as well. But then we're second in the entire MLB in home runs. So the Cubs finally have gotten healthy for a long enough stretch, and they're finally playing decent baseball. I still get anxiety when we go to the bullpen. Our starting rotation still is hit or miss. But overall, the team has been playing well, and we've been walking down the Brewers and the Reds.
See, what confuses me about our team is we'll lose to two nobodies, but then we just clap the Astros. And even in that series against Baltimore, one of the games we beat the shit out of them. The score was 9-3. And I will tell you, I am very divided. There's a dilemma internally. Do I want them just completely again shit the bed so Boone and Cashman are done, or because we're 12 games out of first place? There's still a lot of baseball, right? We have August and we have September. But I don't know. So that's my dilemma.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Who
Big
else?
time run differential for the Cubs too. They got plus 75.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the reason why we didn't sell at the trade deadline, because we got hot. And they were saying, listen, we just lose bad games. Most of the games we've lost have been 1-run games. And a lot of those were given away in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th innings. We'd be winning the whole game, and then we'd find a way for this other team to come back, and then they'd win. But when we beat people, we blew the Reds out. We scored the most runs in 180 years for the Cubs. It was something crazy. But we'll see. The NL West, the Dodgers are leading the way. George, how many wins do the Dodgers have?
Dodgers are 64 and 46 right now. They got a 4-game lead on the division over the Giants. 113 run differential
That's crazy.
Can they? I mean, on paper, they're there. They should be one of the teams to.
But I just don't. Do you feel as if for whatever reason, I don't know if I'm not afraid of the Dodgers. I don't know enough about their pitching staff right now.
They're like the Cowboys in this manner. They always blow it at the end.
They find a way, and now with no, because their ace for years has always been
Kershaw.
Yes, Clayton Kershaw. He's older now. I don't know who their main guy is once they get to the postseason.
So they got
guy is now.
Julio Urias.
Yes,
that's their next stud, and then 3 people I've never heard: Tony Gonsolin, Lance Lynn, and Bobby Miller.
Lance Lynn is okay.
Listen, I loved Bellinger when he was a Dodger.
You don't love him now as a Cub?
No.
That's disrespectful.
The weed's different out there. He's not as high as when he played for the Dodgers.
Hey,
that's when
he's been swinging a hot bat.
That's what it is.
Dude, he was on that Snoop Dogg Purple Kush before every fucking Dodger game. He looked blasted.
I mean, like they all look like Shaggy.
Hey, well, we'll see. We'll see. The one thing, when you had it pulled up, George, I didn't realize that the Padres, because remember beginning of the season when we had Fox in here, we were thinking the Padres were going to be okay this year, and they've stepped right back to being the Padres.
55 and 57.
We thought the Mets had a chance this year.
God, we did.
Ooh, we did.
Those were some bad takes. We go back to those episodes.
But it's not our fault. Listen, you have
baseball's so weird.
You have Steve Cohen spending money, getting. Okay.
I think the biggest thing that hurt them was when they lost their closer in that World Baseball Classic.
I just think that Chapman's a mush.
It's gonna be about her Yankees in the end.
Hey, no, I'm mad at it's the Cubs' fault. We got him from you.
No, we got him from you.
No, we got him from you.
No.
Oh, that's right.
We traded because you got Glaber. You got Glaber.
Oh, and then with Anthony Rizzo. Oh God.
Look, and I was so mad about that when we had to give up Glaber. It was like, no, he's going to be the next one.
We did get Rizzo from the Cubs, and I love Rizzo. And, people were shitting on him like he hadn't had a hit in 2 months. He also had a concussion that we just found out about.
Oh, wow.
So,
I didn't know about that.
So it's like, okay, what's really good with the Yankees? Come on, boys. I love them so much. It's just like they have all the tools that they need.
Yeah. No, 1,000%. 1,000%. They, your team has had everything they need. It's just for whatever reason, the injuries, No,
it's bullpen management. It is bullpen management.
Bullpen management, but the injuries, like even in your bullpen, in your starters.
Everybody has injuries. Everybody has injuries. I'm sorry. I
just always feel like, well, I'll say from my team's perspective, we had Dansby Swanson was out, just signed him. Cody Bellinger was out. One of our pitchers, I think two of our starters were out.
The Yankees are notorious for having their biggest team members, their biggest bats get injured right before the season starts.
Yes. And right before the season started, it was Giancarlo. I remember.
I love Giancarlo.
Okay, but also talking about baseball, Rowe, Anderson, what
Ramirez,
are the names?
Anderson.
Yes. Yes.
It was the best fight of the weekend.
Round 1 is the best fight of the weekend.
It was.
Now, George, do you have that? Do you have that pulled up? I know.
I'm on it, bro.
All right. I mean,
it's the most talked about thing in baseball.
I know, and Josh is like, "What happened?"
No, I saw it. But like for me, it's like that. This is considered the biggest hot topic.
Yeah, Josh
for
goes,
days. It's
Josh,
like, really?
Josh actually is. That was a Tuesday morning for us, and we were going up watching baseball.
Yeah, like this kind of stuff. This is not even a brawl. Like George Brett flying out of the dugout, throwing his hat and all that. That's a brawl.
I used to love it when they used to charge the mound.
Yes.
And eventually, look at him, put him up.
This is a square up. This is like.
I love how he put his dukes up. Like,
put up your dukes.
But then that haymaker that Ramirez landed, lights out.
Let's talk about how this umpire just said, "All right. Ready?
Go."
He did. He made a business decision. Was like, I'm about to be
them. Go.
The inmates are about to run the asylum. Get out of here.
He said, "Fuck that, bro."
But did you see that hit that Ramirez threw, that right hook? And then you had the reporter screw it up. He goes, "Oh, what about that left hook to Francona, to the Guardians manager?"
Yeah.
He goes, "You mean the right hook?" I love how he corrected. And Francona was actually laughing about it.
I can tell you don't cover boxing, sir.
I'm like, maybe he meant the military left.
Your military left. I hate you so much. Oh my God. But yes, this I guess was news. This was big baseball news for me.
Well,
it was
a better fight
than
than the Paul Diaz fight.
Perfect segue.
Yes. He didn't even slide hard into second. That was what I was going to bring in. I was like, God damn, dude went head first. Like, I mean, go back in the 80s, you'd have cleat marks in your shins.
But that's true. You see, we watched that baseball.
Yes. Baseball, we've talked about it. Every sport at this point has kind of taken a side step to
it's like you
sadness.
didn't like how you were tagged, my guy.
I'm sorry. My bad. I thought I was getting the out. I'm sorry that your face got in the way.
I'm sorry that your dreadlocks got in the way of the dirt, sir.
Oh, seriously.
But honestly, no, like Ramirez rocked him because Anderson afterwards was wobbly.
Oh, really?
He was wobbly.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. Well, in other fight news, there were some cards this weekend, most notably the Jake Paul Nate Diaz card. Is Jake Paul crazy because now he said that he would fight Nate Diaz in the Octagon if they had a rematch? So, I mean, listen, this fight went exactly, I think, how all of us planned. Nate Diaz, one, isn't a boxer. Two, has been someone that is known to take damage, as he's requesting more damage on the screen right now.
And he said, I'll fight anybody. He's like, whatever at this point.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to raise my hands up after the fight. Like, boy, you know you didn't win. Like, what? What are we doing?
I don't know how anybody took this seriously.
Well, okay. I'll tell you why. And it's just like any boxing fight. You know, Nate Diaz has a huge following, huge.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, just like when Floyd fought Conor, I was a huge Conor supporter. I didn't really care for Floyd much at that moment. So I was very pro Conor, like, oh, this could happen.
Oh, I hate Conor McGregor.
You know what I'm saying? But like, so in all the lead up and all the stuff that really, they did a really good job of promoting that fight. They went all around the world promoting that fight. And there were moments in the fight where he caught Floyd and I was like, but like, it wasn't a fight.
You could be tough, but that doesn't mean you can be a boxer. That takes
1,000%.
And that's what we saw. You have to have stamina. You've got to be able.
Skill.
Hold on. I work out regularly, and I remember I took this one boxing class. When I tell you, it was like I threw up afterwards because I was like, oh my God, that just the stamina, just the ability, just to you have to be conditioned to a certain degree that I can never wrap my head around. So just because you're tough and you can throw your hands and you can get somebody like in a guillotine and kick them in their balls doesn't mean you're a boxer.
That isn't all that it entails. That's for sure.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Also in our fight world, our personal fight world, this show, this studio, two of our fight friends lost this weekend. Both Osbourne suffered a second round loss, and Bubba Jenkins lost his fight in the PFL. So shouts out to both of them. Hopefully they heal up and get back out there as soon as they can.
Both all heart.
Yeah. Talk to both guys. You know, they're of course, you know, it's the fight game. You know what I mean? You know, George and I talked about O'Day's fight prior to him fighting, and you know, it was the biggest thing for me was that it was the guy's first time in the UFC, and like I just hate. I was talking to Jamal because Jamal and I watched it, and the biggest thing that I hate about MMA is the guys that don't want to fight and all they want to do is wrestle. And it's so frustrating to watch because it's like, no, man, I want to see a fight. I don't want to see you tackle somebody constantly or attempt to. But the flip side of that is, you know, if that's all that he can do, then that's all I needed to be training. Like, you ain't taking me down. Like, I know this other stuff is going to be sharp.
Did you see that fight in Maryland?
No, what fight?
Where this gentleman got the triple beam with the chair. Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Maryland. What was it like? What was it?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was actually in Alabama's Montgomery.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. I'll show you later.
Okay.
Yeah, to piggyback on it, like it is a big takeaway from me that MMA is one of the toughest sports to be a great in. Like, you have to be so well rounded.
Yes,
and it's
yes.
You know, when you even like we had Brandon Moreno. He hosted a show out of here, and it was takedown defense versus Pantoja that was the difference maker. So there is something to be said about, like, when you want to be the greatest, like, you have to be everything. Yeah. And in MMA, it exposes it. So hopefully it's a good, like, learning tool for him to kind of go back to the drawing board. And he's got a wrestling base. I mean, he wrestled a lot, you know, so like he's definitely on the path to being a powerful UFC fighter. And the dude that he fought, though, I think is going to be one of the people to watch out for. I mean, the way it's so tough for me to gauge UFC fighters because there's so many of them. Yeah. But they were giving this guy a lot of high praises, saying that he probably is going to go through the division pretty quickly. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't even want to. I was so pissed. Like, I was pissed. It blew my whole Saturday. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was like Saturday was lost after that. Yeah. Because first off, I didn't realize the Bubba's fight was on Friday, because I thought they both were on Saturday. So I was like looking forward to that. And I saw Bubba's post and I was like, hold on, Bubba lost? Dang. So, you know, but shout out to both of them, man. You know, like I said, get back at it. And, you know, it's the fight game. So just keep going. Switching gears, we're going to talk about a little bit with NFL. Switching gears over to the NFL. NFL training camp is now full go with all 32 teams. We had the Hall of Fame game, also some, you know, obviously Hall of Fame enshrinement weekend.
What a sad little game that was. I
didn't watch once. I don't watch the Hall of Fame game just because those are 90% guys that aren't going to make the team.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's like the fourth preseason game.
When you call it the Hall of Fame game, it's like they you know, at least try.
I wish that they would flip it and they would put the Hall of Fame game in week 3 of the preseason. So then if we're going to play there, then at least the starters are playing. It's a game that everyone is taking a little bit more serious. I think it would give it a little bit more credence to what you're saying, but also it would be a more compelling game. Like, I'd actually might watch it.
I love the Hall of Fame enshrinement though, because I feel like at least it was followed up watching like DeMarcus Ware. I know, but him, Joe Klecko, Darrell Revis. I was so happy for all those gentlemen because they were such a big part of the football I grew up watching. Right?
You weren't happy for Rondé Barber? And look, and Rondé gave so many shout outs to his brother Tiki, which I thought was so cool. You know what I mean? Like he really look, listen, that's his twin brother, and he really spoke about that twin bond and how much they loved each other and how much they pushed the other. You know, in different ways, because it wasn't like they both were receivers or they both were running backs. They played on different sides of the ball. And that was really cool.
He deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I think. Okay. And I will tell you, and where that like grudginess comes from, because I do hold grudges, especially towards people who deserve one. As a diehard Giants fan, Tiki Barber is a very touchy subject for Giants fans. How he did Eli and how he did Strahan after the fact, if you ask a lot of Giants fans, they feel the same way. They, you know, Tiki was a phenomenal player, okay? But how he did those two gentlemen afterwards, I couldn't get past it. Just like with OBJ, I always say this, he is a generational talent. The way that he threw Eli Manning under the bus after setting a $90 million highest ever post rookie season wide receiver contract, I will never get over. So I don't know. And unfortunately, Rondé Barber is going to get some of that heat from me. But listen, in terms of talent, yeah, I mean.
No, George, because when I told Ro that Rondé was getting in.
I told you he was getting in.
No.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Well, when we talked about Rondé Barber getting into the being enshrined this week, she was like, Rondé Barber shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And I thought about it, and when I think of that Tampa 2, because the Tampa 2, started with Tony Dungy, that's the reason why it's called Tampa 2. They were the first to really run it that way. I think about all levels of the ball. Warren Sapp was the defensive line Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Fame now. Derek Brooks, I believe Derek Brooks is in the Hall of Fame as well. He was the middle linebacker from that. Rondé Barber was the premier cornerback that was there for many of those years. And then John Lynch was the safety. So in terms of him getting in and what he did within that system for the entirety of his career, I thought that's what made him a Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
I just think they may be running out of ideas.
What do you mean in terms of Hall of Famers? Shoot.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen, as somebody that doesn't have members of the Hogs in the Hall of Fame, trust me, I have gripes with the Hall of Fame. So I understand not everybody should get in the Hall of Fame, but when they name a whole defense and then everyone starts running it, colleges, high schools, after something that you created and you were a part of, I feel like you always talk, I know that you always mention how they changed the game. That defense changed defensive coverages for football. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have a very, very controversial take with, two quarterbacks who I don't think should be in the Hall of Fame, but are, and that they are Dan Marino and Warren Moon. I don't think they belong in the Hall of Fame. I think,
You really do not like Dan Marino.
It's not that I don't like Dan Marino. I don't think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. What is your reasoning behind not having Dan Marino in the Hall of Fame?
Okay, so if it was so before I answer that, I want to ask you this. Do you think Tony Romo should be in the Hall of Fame?
That's a touchy one. Probably not, but his stats bear that he should.
Okay. So with that same reasoning, why should Dan Marino be in the Hall of Fame?
Dan Marino has even far superior stats, and he did it in a time where throwing the ball wasn't in vogue to that point.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because remember he had
a cannon.
He had all the records that then Peyton broke, and then Tom broke Peyton's records, but he was the person that set those records. And the years that he set them, it wasn't like people were even close. Like when he had 49 touchdowns, I feel like the next person probably had 20.
Hey, Georgie, can you pull up all-time passing for QBs?
Yeah, I got you.
Go ahead.
But so my criteria is, one of them is, did they change the game? Based on that, okay, yes. I mean, but I don't know. I just feel like you don't play for stats. You play for rings. Okay.
No, 1,000%. Listen, rings for me are always that's the separator. That's where, I would never put Dan Marino next to some of these other guys that have similar numbers or have surpassed him simply because they won. You know what I mean? Drew Brees is ahead of Dan Marino because he won. He went to one Super Bowl, he won it. And, and then his numbers, he's played longer, so his numbers got higher. The game was different. But so that for me is always the separator. But he was a great player. He was a great player.
There's a lot of great players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think Warren Moon deserves to be in the Hall of Fame?
For me, Warren Moon, what he did in Canada on top of what he did in the NFL is probably what separates him, because again, he didn't have even the success that Dan Marino did.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Well, I especially don't think he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but for him to do it as a quote-unquote black quarterback in a time where black quarterbacks were supposed to be runners and he was a pocket passer completely, he could not run.
Do you think that Michael Vick deserves to be in?
Oh, yes.
Good.
1,000%. But Michael Vick's numbers in comparison to those two aren't the same.
But there are separators we talk about.
Michael Vick was told he definitely changed how football was played and how you had to defend.
He was the first real mobile quarterback. You can't there. I don't think that there was a quarterback as mobile as he was that changed the position from a stationary like placement for a QB to
Randall.
Not like Michael.
Randall was solid as well, but yeah, I don't.
I'd say out of the two, Mike Vick
more dynamic. He was definitely more dynamic with the ball.
I'm sorry. Can you pull that up one more time, Georgie? Because I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, what you're bringing up, it warrants it. Warren Moon only played 208 games. From what I understand in his career, he was he started late. And on top of Canada stuff too. But to still put up those numbers, I think it warrants it.
Here.
Marino has a lot of accolades too.
Yeah, look, so the year that Dan Marino broke the touchdown record for throwing was his second year in the league, and that was 1984. He had 48 touchdowns. The next person to him was Neil Lomax. He had 28. So, like, in terms of the game that was played, he was far different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when Peyton and Brady were breaking the record, they were also still being pushed. Like, Peyton had 50 touchdowns, and Tom Brady probably had, like, 45, 44. Like, he was still being pushed. You know what I mean? Like, Dan Marino was out there just pushing himself. There wasn't nobody even in his stratosphere.
Okay, so I will tell you, some of the most ardent Dan Marino supporters will swear up and down that Eli Manning doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame first ballot. Like, that is the most asinine fucking thing you can ever say. Like, don't talk about football. So when you have a quarterback who beat the GOAT twice. Remember, Tom Brady's never gotten a ring off of my quarterback. Okay, but those Dan Marino crazies are they're like the Hare Krishnas of the NFL. I swear it. They'll swear up and down that Eli Manning isn't first ballot. Like, stop it.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
Let me see what we have next. Plot lines. We wanted to talk about biggest storylines from this year's NFL season. So I'll let you go ahead and go, Ro.
My top three that I'm watching, like, just that. First of all, number one, all of the NFC East. What's happening in that division is incredible. I can see us going back to the 80s and early 90s, actually
80s
until like the early 2000s, when we were the scariest division in football. But really, late 80s, early 90s, the most, right? With my team in particular, I can't wait to see how Daniel Jones does with this second year regime with Dable. I was really kind of upset that we didn't draft a wide receiver in the first round, but this gentleman that we did draft in the third round is actually other. I'm curious to see what the Eagles are going to be doing. But plotline 2 is I can't wait to watch the Jets shit the bed. I am watching that division so closely because I'm also curious to see I want to see how Josh Allen does now. You'll have a lot of people that are Bills fans just say, last year Josh Allen wasn't 2 years ago Josh Allen. Does that have anything to do with Brian Dable not being there? Quite possibly. We did get Cole Beasley from the Bills recently.
The Giants did.
The Giants did, yes. But I'm really curious to see how the Jets are going to do against, actually, I don't even put the Patriots in it, but I do want to see how they do against Buffalo, and I want to see how they're going to do against the Dolphins. My third favorite plot line is, God, there are so many right now. I want to see if Sean Payton is him, because after all that talking, I was telling Josh just yesterday, I have never seen a head coach in the NFL. I've seen it in college a couple times. A head coach publicly just berate another coach, like publicly. So I will say this, after the amount of money Sean Payton is getting paid, after that mind-blowing speech he gave against Nathaniel Hackett, whether he deserved it or not, when you have Aaron Rodgers, who is the biggest diva, who is notorious for throwing coaches under the bus, as he did with Mike McCarthy, as he did with Matt LaFleur, he will do a Saleh. I'll mark my words. For Aaron Rodgers to be like, yeah, buddy, you got to calm down. That wasn't necessary. I mean, because he's very petty. But I'm curious to see what Denver is going to do. So you paid him all that money, and you'd give Russ Wilson that much money the year before. Now you can't leave. Now you have to make something happen. So those are the three biggest things that I'm watching.
They're definitely in a stuck position. George, any plot lines that you are excited about this year?
Well, I don't know if you guys saw that Alvin Kamara is suspended for 3 games.
Three.
Shout out to the justice system and Roger Goodell. I mean, I thought it was going to be more.
That's exactly what I
Josh
said.
said that too.
I was like, shout out to only being 3.
Bro, yeah. Hey, shout out to Deshaun Watson, all right, for only getting about 12. So, all right, that sets the precedent.
The bar is like, hold on, wait. I slapped a man. That was it.
3 games.
3 games.
So, biggest storyline for me, do OBJ and Lamar Jackson set the goddamn NFL on fire. I have been looking at this Ravens team, and I'm like, I don't see how they're not going to win 12 games. I think they will be the most winningest team in the AFC. They're always there. I mean, they got the consistency. I think they lost a little bit on defense, but I mean, what they lost for on defense, they picked up for on offense. Should be electric. I mean, Lamar off a year of recovery after his injury, I think he still is, when healthy, probably top 3 quarterbacks in the league. It's hard for me not to put him in that category when he's on fire.
Former MVP. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's my favorite storyline.
You can't really pull it away from him. For me, I have 2. My main one, kind of, I guess, NFL overarching one would be the main 3 quarterbacks in the AFC: Burrow, Mahomes, and Josh Allen. Their battles, their internal battles amongst themselves. Who gets to the end? Because really, that honestly comes down to health for me. And also, outside of Allen is the only one where it's like there's also some mental stuff and some other stuff that goes into it. But health, Burrow getting hurt or Mahomes getting hurt because of their line and just a myriad of other factors, that is always exciting for me because that's the highest level of quarterbacking in the league. And then for my team, how Sam Howell looks, because if he is even solid, my team can win 10 to 12 games.
Woof.
We won 8 with trash, George.
Yeah, but you have a whole bunch of change, Josh. 10 to 12 games.
We don't have that much change. The defense hasn't changed at all.
Your ownership has changed. The chemistry has changed.
The ownership is a freaking scarlet letter off my back.
No, agreed. But there's a lot of internal chemistry building, a lot of stuff that has to happen.
Well, I mean, look, for me, the ownership, that is a blessing.
You're not winning 10 games.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
I'm happy if we win 10 games.
Yeah.
No, really. I don't think you are, though.
Well, look at it this way. Last year, almost our entire division could have won 10 games. That's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We get in our own way.
Yeah, no. Now you're good. There's going to be some, there's going to be some losses simply just from infighting. So that doesn't help any of us. But yeah, no, I mean, look, I felt last year, if Carson Wentz would have played well, like our defense has been playing better, and then, Chase Young looking like Chase Young.
Your defense has been, yes.
So if the defense takes another step with this rookie, with Emmanuel Forbes, if we're getting some interceptions, we're making the game easier on that situation. And I have a coordinator now that is imaginative and is trying to really like hurt the other team. Like I've always had a coordinator that's like, yeah, we just gonna kind of do our thing and then hopefully let the chips fall where they may and we gonna win. But like now I have a coordinator that's actually really trying to attack you. And if my quarterback can do that,
okay, I can see the roadmap. I can see why you're seeing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, just from my perspective.
On quarterbacks for a second, how do you think Brock Purdy's going to do?
Health.
Well, no kidding.
Yeah, no. Like if he's healthy, okay. If he's healthy, first off, I don't think I sent this to you guys, but it was so sad. They clipped Trey Lance doing like a quarterback drill, and he like sailed the ball like 12 yards over the like assistant coach's head, and like the assistant coach when he like came down was like shoot, and like he was doing his thing, step, turn, and like I mean the guy was maybe about 10 yards, 15 yards down the field, and like he sailed it like 10, 15 feet above the guy's head. Like it wasn't even like the dude like put his hands up and just like it was like one of those. And so I don't think he's gonna fight for the job. So it's Brock Purdy and is Sam Darnold out there? I think Sam Darnold's out there too.
Yeah, I heard rumors that, and this was said to me by somebody in the hallway, but it makes sense. They said they're shopping Trey Lance.
I mean,
is that like legit? I mean, the season hadn't even fucking started.
Well,
like, to me, I'm like, how are you shopping anybody? Like
they were shopping him during the draft.
True.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, I guess it just carries over.
They were
quietly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like that's a sad situation.
Yeah, I mean, one of my questions I wanted to ask to you, Josh, before we get out about the Commanders. There has to be a correlation somewhere, and I'm giving you a little homework to look up. When Commanders win games, how many times does Terry McLaurin get the ball? Because I think there's probably a strong correlation to like Terry gets 12 to 15 touches, Commanders win football games.
Oh.
I'd love. Do you see him in the backfield at all this year?
No. You don't want to put him back there. He'll run like some sweeps and stuff, but you don't like sit him back there. He you're right because there are games where he's lost. Not necessarily lost, but like they don't. We have never done a good job in his entirety on the team of identifying plays that will get him the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like where we're struggling, we need something to get going. We need to go to our guy, and we can't find him. And it's not his fault. Like he'll be open, but the quarterback can't find him. Quarterback can't execute. So no, you're right. And that again goes back to coordinator. You know what I mean? Like we have a coordinator now that is going to identify ways to attack defenses, both for Terry, but also for Jahan Dotson, for Curtis Samuel. I'm very excited. I mean, I know that the reports have been bad because, Sam Howell is still a baby, but I'm excited that we could be solid because we have everything we need outside of a line, which is a big need.
Last thing, this question will go for both of you. I'll frame one for the Giants. What does Sam Howell need to do for Josh to buy a Sam Howell jersey?
Oh, what'll make me howl for Howell?
Howl for Howell?
Man.
What does he have to do?
All right. Week 1. This is week 1. We're playing the Arizona Cardinals, who Ro has sent videos of sadness.
My God. I showed Georgie too.
I forgot to tell George to pull that up. But if we go out and we like mud stomp the Cardinals at home opener, sellout crowd, everybody going crazy, I'll buy one. I buy like if he has like because that's a team that you should beat. And 100%. So they don't have their quarterback. They're in disarray. They lost DeAndre Hopkins. So that whole team, they have a new coach. That whole team is in transition.
I think
again.
my son's intramural flag football team could beat the Cardinals.
Oh my God. They're not looking like world beaters by any means.
Oh God, that video, it was
no, that
I'll
was
find
funny.
It. I'll find it while I ask the Ro for you.
Uh-huh.
What does Darren Waller have to do for you to get a Darren Waller jersey?
Outside of being married to Kelsey Plum.
Oh gosh. Just for the record, I don't buy any first-year player jerseys.
Oh, okay.
That's fair.
I don't.
I've been burned.
I don't. Well, I've been burnt. You know how burnt I was. The last time, and I said and I wouldn't do it, but I did. Was Victor Cruz.
Oh, okay. I think I remember
shit.
you telling me that.
So
That's still a good jersey, though, to
That's
rock.
a touchdown celebration jersey.
That's still good. Because anybody that sees it, any Giants fan, is probably still going to smile at you, and they might even break out they might break out the salsa.
Hold on. So just for you people that don't understand, they're like, oh, he's a giant. He was, he had the dance. What? I'm going to tell you what, okay? He was on the infamous boat trip in Miami where OBJ was wearing black jeans and Timbs and twerking with a mesh shirt on. Victor Cruz was the sole captain with the rest of the crew. The day before the biggest games of your careers thus far as Giants, you had one job, my guy. I'm going to put aside all the other, you were injured, but you somehow made it to every fashion week and you had like 30 Campbell soup commercials, but you couldn't be at practice. The fact that you were the sole chaperone, you were the sole captain on that boat in Miami, my guy, I don't even. That was the last time I bought. So okay, Darren Waller.
Can't go on any boat trips.
Okay, Darren Waller. Listen to me.
Rule one.
We have a lot of room for a tight end to succeed. It's not going to be difficult and Darren Waller is it. Let me finish.
No.
Is a really, really solid tight end.
Yeah.
And the Giants have had some of the greatest tight ends in history with, my favorite being Mark Bavaro, of course. Jeremy Shockey.
Ingram was good for a moment.
No, he wasn't. Fuck Evan Ingram. I will tell you, though, Darren Waller, there's a lot of room for him to succeed. He is, from what I understand, his conditioning has been phenomenal. He's doing great in camp. Like, he's been impressing everybody. His hands have been sticky. He's been pretty explosive and... from what I'm understanding, really flexible in the way that he's playing that position. I'm really excited. So what he has to do is make at least 3 for me to buy a first-year jersey for a Giant that is not on defense. Because that'd be the only exception. Even with Saquon, it was year 2. I didn't buy the jersey until year 2. 3 game-winning touchdowns this season.
Oh, wow.
Then I will.
So the reason I made the face was because I forgot that you guys had the rookie tight end last year that was playing pretty well. Like, it's something with a B. What is his name? But you know who I'm talking about.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But barely.
But he had started, like, I was like, oh, okay, he's going to be pretty solid. And then I just completely forgot that Waller was added, and I was like, oh, that might stunt some of his growth, because I liked him. I thought he was...
Daniel Bellinger.
Bellinger
Bellinger
wasn't bad. He was just not consistent. Evan Ingram, by the way, the reason I said that, because he dropped every fucking ball. He was the reason, by the way, he was the single-handed reason we lost 3 games last season. Okay? There were memes...
Not last season.
Or the season before, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was on Jacksonville last year.
Yeah, like he single-handedly lost 3 games for us. I mean, there were like memes going around that, he was going to be the one that dropped the ball, for New Year's Eve in Times Square. Like,
that's too good.
He reminded me of Nelson Aguilar when that year when
the guy was, what did the guy say? He's like, I was catching those babies. He's like, unlike Aguilar.
Unlike Aguilar.
That was all-time meme. All time.
So, but that's why.
That was so good.
That is seriously still
In
one
the
of that
middle
was
of an
100%.
interview, unlike Aguilar.
Like, bro, we're talking about life or death. How did the heck did this
Philly.
get into
Football is life or death.
That was too good. That was literally as a fan, that was
Oh my
that's
God.
one of the best. That's one of the best all time.
I have a little. I don't want you guys to see this down here. Let me pull this down.
Okay.
I have a fun tweet.
Okay.
Who do you guys think since 2000 had the most arrests? Which NFL team had the most arrests?
Has had the most arrests. Oh, the Cowboys.
Nope.
I would say the Bengals.
Nope.
The Raiders.
No.
The
Bengals were close. Okay.
The Patriots.
Let me pull up this graphic here.
Oh, wow.
All right. So they went in detail. It's the fucking Broncos. Broncos and the Vikings.
The Vikings.
The Vikings?
Like, who's doing shit on the Vikings?
Like what are you doing in Minnesota to get busted?
Bengals, I was top 3. All right.
You were.
Pac-Man had a lot.
Yeah,
I know, like,
he accounted for most of them.
Pac-Man had a solid 15 arrests that I know of.
Yeah, but does that count as 15 or does that count as 1?
No, that they all count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
He's stacking charges.
He's
over
stacking
here.
charges. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like I got charged with like 18 different offenses that one stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think these are all separate occasions.
Like separate occasions. Okay.
My bad.
I'm like, just because you did 20 things, but it's just one arrest?
Damn.
That doesn't count. Yes, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Where are my look at my Commanders. We're way down the list. I like it.
Yeah, Commanders and Giants. So like what they were saying, a correlation could be like one of the tweets is like people that care, like football towns that just wouldn't arrest like NFL players. Like
we'll
like if you
let that
like
slide.
the Giants bottom.
The Broncos are a football town.
Eagles are not letting anybody get arrested. They got 15 arrests.
They're all degenerates, please.
Broncos are a football town, but there's also a hint of racism.
Just a little bit.
just a smidge.
just pepper. Just a little bit of, just a little seed.
Spray a little crack on them.
I thought that was just a fun tweet. There you go.
No, that is a good treat. That is a good treat, George. All right, we gotta get out on this. So, Winning Time came back last night. Oh, it was so good, Ro. First off, how they started in '84.
Yep.
That was like they started in '84. Pat Riley was the coach. He had Adrian Brody had shaved the mustache.
What?
I was very jarred. I was like, wait, how are they?
You're like, are we back to
Yeah, I didn't know how they were gonna break it down.
Well, okay. It was so magnificent. It made up for the fucking snoozer quarterback was. Okay. It started like they showed you that they had won the 1984 season. Like they won the championship, but in a flash. So when it started before like when the season started. And the dynamics, for me, the best part of it was, again, we don't know how much of this is dramatized. The dynamics between him and Kareem, because there was a scene where Magic's attorneys said to him, there's a young lady and, she's going to have a baby. She's saying it's yours and she's keeping the baby. And basically we need you, but we can keep it all hush. She'll get money. You'll never have to hear from the kid. And he's like, well, I don't know how I feel about that part. Like that's still my kid. And so he was, struggling with it while fucking one of his lawyers. And then
yes, he was.
And then it cuts to a scene where he sees Kareem and then he sees Kareem's wife coming out and she's very pregnant and he didn't realize that Kareem was going to have a baby. And you can tell, like, Kareem was such a different personality type. He didn't like anything about Magic then at all. And in fact, the more that Magic tried to make him like himself build more rapport. Kareem's like, no, I know what you're about. I don't like anything about you. The dynamics also between Jerry Buss and Red Auerbach are fascinating.
Oh, they're so that's really cool. I really like that they're pulling that out. I'm very excited to see where they go with Bird because I know that we've talked about, we really like the Larry Bird character.
How about when they said Robert Parrish?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Parrish and McHale, like it's like they're doing a really good job building the show.
This casting
is A1. It's really, really good. I will give you that. I am excited. I will say they are making Magic a lot unlikable. They're quietly, I mean, you still love it because it's Magic, but there's aspects of Magic that you're like, ooh, there's some selfishness there.
Can I say though? One of the things that you brought up to me, because I've asked you personally, why isn't the GOAT conversation Kareem Jordan? And you said, well, really there was a huge likability issue with Kareem. But now we're seeing that, okay, maybe he wasn't like the most chipper one on the team, but he was a man of integrity. So I'm wondering, based on what we see, if it continues to play out like this, if that GOAT conversation is going to change, because now we're seeing, okay, maybe he wasn't likable, but he was a man of character.
Man of character, he wasn't a media guy. He wasn't a guy that was going to give you sound bites. He didn't like that aspect of his job. He loved basketball.
That's why he wasn't Showtime.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. But I mean, for me, the thing that chips away at Kareem is that he played with Magic and that he played with Big O. And those things take away, they don't take away from his greatness, but they do kind of give it some caveat. Just like Kobe got 3 rings with Shaq, and just like Shaq got 3 rings with Kobe. Like, there's a little bit of a difference, whereas like it was their team together, whereas when it was Jordan and Pippen, it was Jordan and Pippen, but it was Jordan's team. You know what I mean? Like, it was
not according to Scotty.
Oh my God. That's a whole nother question for a whole nother day.
No, but you make a great point.
Yeah, I mean, but like that's my feeling, because like, listen, Kareem won in high school. He won three national championships in college. Then he won 6 titles in the NBA. He won, 5 with the Lakers, 1 with the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has all like X amount of MVPs. I feel like he has more MVPs than Michael. Like, he has all the boxes checked. So he was the all-time leading scorer. Like, so like all of those,
until recently, right?
I mean, with 1-3.
And also we got to talk about how many games were played.
That part.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but right.
So like all of those things are the reasons why he should be in there more, but he does get poo-pooed a lot. Like, people just walk by him like he ain't even there.
Yeah, but it's like, but that talks to charisma. Magic was all charisma.
Yeah.
He was the immediate darling at a time where a lot of America was still very overtly racist.
Yes.
He was
that scene when they left the garden.
Oh,
that looked scary. And I feel like that might have been real.
You know what? I loved that scene in the beginning when they beat the Celtics in game 1 and they all got on the bus, and Pat Riley said, you know what? We stole game 1 from them. And then he's like, you know what? But we can't steal something that was ours for the taking.
Yeah,
like,
it was ours already.
It was ours already.
Yeah.
That, it seems like that make this show, like, I'm getting chills. But I mean, listen, I'm not saying anything new. Boston Celtics fans and Boston in general has a reputation for being incredibly, disgustingly racist. Okay.
I can leave on this note. So I'll tell one story and then we can go ahead and get out. George, first off, you need to start watching Winning Time if you haven't watched.
No, I'm batching them up right now.
All right.
I like I'm going to bang them out.
You have no idea.
When you
are
watch
gonna be
it,
obsessed.
I watched season 1. I'm fully bought in.
Oh, okay. He watched season 1. Okay. Season 2 just started.
Yeah, no, I get with the lay down here.
Okay. So in terms of Boston racism, right? So my last time going to a Celtics game, I had this wasn't the time Doc Rivers gave me tickets. This was the time that I got media passes. I got media passes from, I forget the gentleman's name that's still there, but I was taking 3 of my children that I coached. And so for whatever reason, this particular time going to Boston, I got turned around. And so we were trying to find the arena. I knew it was nearby, but I didn't know exactly where, right? So I pull over, and this white lady is walking down the street, and I was like, oh, excuse me, miss, excuse me. She stops, and I was like, yes, we're looking for the Boston Garden. This wasn't, a foreign or language barrier situation. I'm looking for the Boston Garden, whatever. And, and I've got 3 brown children with me. And she looks at me, she looks at them, looks at me again, and turns her head and walks away. And I was like, yo, but there were things in Boston. Like, I got pulled over one time in Boston, and it was getting trickier, Mickey. Like, there's the racism that's still there is still very,
the audacity,
these
sister banging racist. They're like the hillbillies of the East Coast. Like them and people from Long Island.
Not Long. Don't bring the Hamptons.
Long Island.
Don't bring the Hamptons.
No, I'm serious. It's just like the overt racism, and when Jerry. So in that scene, they win game 1. Jerry Buss, like, people in the stands were trying to go after him.
Yeah,
like
pulling his jackets off.
I know. Well, he was something special that one too, though. But he's so likable.
I love John C. Reilly's character.
He's so perfect.
He is beyond perfect because he rides the line of funny to drama so easily and so quickly that it makes the show so compelling. But I know we gotta get out, so. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the American Fan 365 podcast. Thank you again to our sponsor, Coco Love, who's behind me. Let's see, right over.
And Coco Love is so delicious, you guys. And I'm not just saying it; it's so yummy.
We'll start doing some Hydrate Wednesdays coming up, so be on the lookout for that on the page. We'll be, either giving away cases or be giving cases away for your purchase. So please make sure you take a look at that. But make sure you like, share, subscribe to all the channels, everything, the American Fan 365, and we'll see you next time.